Hey, Alex Tsushiyama, back with the next 5 battles from the Pokemon 2013 Winter Friendly Tournament from the Pokemon Global Link. Now I'm going to try to get these done a bit faster now. Um, there's a lot of battles to go through. And I'll be uploading every one even if they're as disappointing as the last battle of that last video. I hate Water Spout Kyogre. Yeah, so, pretty excited for X and Y. Don't know what they're going to have, barely any idea what's going to be going on. So, this first battle, I believe, was a rain team. And we'll see about that if this Politoed has Drizzle, which I'm fairly certain it does. But this was an uphill battle. Also, that's a shiny jump block. No, that's kind of obvious, but yeah, I actually kind of went with a non-standard setup this time, not leading with Sizzle. So, Water Team. I stay in on Espeon to Grass Knot, I believe. No, I Psyshock because, yeah, Psyshock would have been effective against him. It doesn't quite take out the Politoed. She rotates to her Jump Bluff. I rotate to Bronzong, I believe, to get screen set up. But Jump Bluff has Sleep Powder. That effectively takes Bronzong out of the game for pretty much the whole thing. So, rotate Staraptor, go for the Brave Bird, I believe, or Return. I'm not sure if this counts as being predictive or not, but Ice Beam will just straight up faint Staraptor. That's disappointing. So, going with Gengar, didn't bring Scizor at all this time. I believe I was going for a Shadow Ball. No, I was going to go try to get Bronzong to wake up again. Get him to waste a Sucker Punch. I think I was going to go for Reflect again. And this is a Sub-Puncher Toxicroak, I believe. Gets the sub up, goes for Dry Skin. Oh no, it's not a Sub-Puncher because otherwise it would Polka. But this thing is just going to boost its attack and defense to astronomical levels. Bronzong wakes up finally and uses Light Screen because prior to that, the biggest threat has been the Politoed, which is special based. Toxicroak heals back to full. I go for a Psyshock to get rid of the substitute. It's 4 times super effective, even if it is going against his physical defense, so it works. And he goes for another Bulk Up. Now, I'm fairly certain that I make another misplay here, because, yeah, it goes for the Sucker Punch, and no, I go for the, no. Yeah, I go for the Morning Sun to heal a little bit because of the rain. It's not going to heal fully because the rain lowers the amount Morning Sun heals. And I rarely get to use Morning Sun with this Espeon. I go back, it's Bronzong, and then Sleep Powder works, it hits again. Bronzong falls back asleep. And I think I was going to go for the Reflect this time, but it didn't work. So I go back to the Espeon. And this is a kind of, I'm fairly certain this is a somewhat unorthodox jump block set because of that. And I take this turn to heal back to full. Or nearly full. This was a lucky prediction as well as just get some poison up in here to weaken that thing. It works. Toxic actually hits, and it starts doing its thing. I go back to Bronzong to absorb whatever attacks it deals. That's a +2 Seed Bomb. It doesn't do very much. Bronzong's still asleep. And I believe I'm just going to continue trying to set up screens. Yeah. She has her jump level go up to +4. I finally wake up and I go for the reflect. So now I've got dual screen support until light screen wears off. Which is actually this turn. Sleep powder hits a third time. Once again, taking Bronzong out. Essentially. Hate sleep. Nope. Go to Gengar. Try to outspeed it. I don't outspeed it. +4 flying jump boosted acrobatics will finish off Gengar. Left with Bronzong and Espeon. Maybe the poison is going to take Jumpluff out. I rotate back to Bronzong, take whatever attack he throws at me. She throws at me. +4 acrobatics. And I get the light screen back up. So I got some decent defense. Jumpluff faints to the poison, which is kind of a victory at this point, considering how much of an uphill battle this has been. She goes for Dragon Breath, which does get the Paralyze. But I somehow predict that and go for the Gyro Ball, which does a respectable amount. But Flamethrower doesn't actually do that much with the light screen. Go for another Gyro Ball. Takes it down pretty far. She goes back to her Toxicroak, sets up the sub again. I think I misclicked there and tried to set the light screen back up even though it was already up. I believe it's at this point that I go here, go for the Psyshock, gets rid of his substitute, or gets rid of her substitute. She goes for the third bulk up on the Toxicroak, and this is where I actually make my the biggest misplay. I go for the damaging attack, even though I know this thing already has Sucker Punch, and it hasn't used all of its Sucker Punches up yet. Espeon is not going to be able to live at +3 Sucker Punch. So, that leaves Bronzong, who is paralyzed and at half health. Drain Punch finishes it off. Yeah. That was relatively disappointing. Oh well. So, that's the first battle done. That was a somewhat non-standard loadout for a rotation battle. But here's the next battle against mostly OU, with White Kyurem thrown in there for the lulz, I guess. And this guy's using a Gigalith for something. Using a Gigalith and a Keldeo. So, go with my standard setup of Espeon, Scizor, Melodic, all movie stars. I go for the Grass Knot, I believe. I believe I was going to go for the Grass Knot. Azelf outspeeds. No. Why did I go for this? I don't remember why I went for the Psyshock, but it does a decent amount of damage to Azelf despite the resistance. I go to Scizor, try to Bullet Punch the Azelf the rest of the way down. It works. Azelf faints. And this guy's got a White Kyurem with Turbo Blaze. And it's at this point, like, I think I kept forgetting that the various forms of Kyurem are still Ice type. So I think that's why I didn't stay in for Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I didn't stay into Bullet Punch. But Melodic gets the Toxic off on the Gigalith, which will help break through its Sturdy, if it has Sturdy. I don't think it can have anything other than Sturdy. But go to Espeon. Go for the Psyshock again for some reason. I'm not sure why. Grass Knot would have been effective against anything but Kyurem. But uses Stone Edge, that takes Espeon out. Which is disappointing. I really should have done Grass Knot there, that would have been a major play. But send out Staraptor, get the Intimidate off on the Gigalith. I go back to Scizor, and this time I actually do go for the Bullet Punch. It takes Gigalith the rest of the way down. I'm currently ahead in this battle, 3 Pokemon to 2. But those last 2 are kind of a doozy. So I go back to Melodic. It uses Ice Beam for some... He has his Kyurem use Ice Beam for some reason. Doesn't get the freeze. I go for Toxic. It hits. So now that White Kyurem is somewhat crippled. Then he has it go for Draco Meteor. For whatever reason. It feints Melodic. And I believe it does have the White Herb to restore its status. Actually, I'm not entirely sure about that. No, it has lefties, for some reason. I'm not entirely sure this guy was a good player. So it auto-rotates me back to Staraptor. I switch to Scizor. Finally, just going, oh wait, this is an Ice type. And go for the Bullet Punch. Yeah, that probably would have one-shot it anyway, without the Poison Helm. So all this guy's got left is his Keldeo, and Swift Brave Bird will take care of that. After Focus Miss does its thing. Yeah, I'd have honestly kept Secret Sword or Sacred Sword or a Sphere, whatever other special-based fighting type moves it learns. So yeah, as of this point in the video, I'm at 1 win, 1 loss. That was a pretty decent thing. I think I was really happy about finally beating a typed Kyurem at that point. But here's the third battle of this video. Battle number 23 overall. You saw the team I'm up against. And that looks like kind of a name that might be a YouTuber, I don't know. But, yeah. Still going with my standard setup. Same 3 Pokemon. This is something that I kind of wasn't really expecting, I'm not entirely sure. But, rotate to Melodic, go for the Surf. He has his, he gets a critical on the Shadow Claw, which does only about 25% on a critical. Surf takes Lucario down to about half. He rotates to his Mewtwo. I think that I stayed in to Surf again, and once again, Melodic has a lot of defenses and a lot of HP. Lefties heals me back into the green. Then, yeah, close combat almost feints Melodic, but I recover, which once again puts me back into the green. And then lefty's healing. So then I go to Scizor to take advantage of the defense drop on Lucario with Bullet Punch. he switches to Mewtwo for some reason, and Bullet Punch knocks it out from that range. And then he's got a Lapras, which I will immediately try. Well, no. Dang, why do I always think I'm going to Grass Knot things? Whatever. Psyshock does a pretty good amount. It uses Ice Beam. I think just for stab purposes. But yeah, it crits and almost takes Espeon out. So then, I Psyshock trying to feint whatever he's got. He rotates in his Lucario, which thanks to the defense drop, Psyshock feints. But, thanks to Life Orb recoil, Espeon also feints. It's disappointing. So Staraptor once again misses on the Intimidate. Oh no, it auto-rotated before Intimidate triggered. I forgot about that. So, go for the return. Not entirely sure. Oh, right. Wow. I didn't even notice that that Charizard was a lower level than everything. So, yeah. Fire Blast takes out Staraptor in one shot. But, I've got Scizor. 2 Bullet Punches ends the match. Because despite resistances, neither of his Pokemon are at any range to resist a Technician-stabbed Bullet Punch. A Technician-stabbed Choice-banded Bullet Punch. Yeah. So, 2 wins this video. 2 wins, 1 loss this video. And let's go into the 4th battle of the video, coming up in just right now. I don't exactly remember what happened here. Just looking at this, it looked like it. I think this was somewhat of an uphill battle. But I don't exactly remember. This was This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago by now. So yeah, standard setup, standard 3 Pokemon. This setup will be seen a lot more often. And then, for some reason, I thought it would be a good idea to rotate into Scizor. So, I don't even remember what I was going to do. Probably Bullet Punch, or maybe a U-turn. But, yeah. I honestly don't know why I did that. So, Intimidate is kind of useless to use on Chandelure. And I decided that Surfing is going to be my best option here. As it'll deal neutral or super effective, it deals good amounts to Scrafty, who then lowers its HP even more by Substitute. We go back to Staraptor, and this is a Sub-Puncher set, so I decided to U-turn, forgetting that Fighting resists Bug, but it still does enough damage to fade Substitute. And it gets Focus Punch off, which does a lot. It almost feints Staraptor. I decided to go for the return, just get some massive damage on anything that's not Chandelure. And he decides to go for the Trick Room for whatever reason, and let Melodic always go first. Something, I don't know. But, yeah. So, knowing that Melodic is the slowest Pokemon on my team that isn't Scizor, I decided to go back to it. I believe I Surf after it recovers off most of the damage that Return did. Surf does almost nothing. And this thing's got lefties. When it goes for the Psychic, it does it does about half of Melodic's HP with critical. I go for the Toxic, not entirely sure whether this thing has Magic Coat or not, or Magic Guard or not, or whatever the ability it is that lets it ignore all non-combat damage. But luckily, as it turns out, it does not. It probably has Overcoat instead, for whatever reason. Scrafty uses Payback. While Melodic recovers off the damage that the critical Psychic did. Which was a lot of damage. But that Reuniclus is kind of crippled now with the Toxic Poison. Switches back to it, go for another Psychic, hoping to get lucky. He doesn't this time, and I go for another Surf. Takes it down, does about the same amount of damage as it did before. And toxic damage is slowly racking up. And then the Trick Room ends. I decide to continue surfing. Chandler goes for Energy Ball, which does quite a bit, but not enough to faint. No, I don't go for the surf, I go for the recover because of about half or below health. And recover is just a glorious move. And Melodic, until recently, was the only water type Pokemon to learn recover. I decide to Shadow Ball, reasoning it'll do super effective damage. Well, it'll do decent damage against whatever. And it drops Scrafty below its substitute line, so making its turn wasted. I decided to keep Shadow Balling, reasoning that I'd faint Scrafty if it stayed in, or be super effective against whatever else this guy brought in. He rotates Chandler, presumably to also Shadow Ball, but it doesn't work. Go for the Grass Knot because he doesn't switch. It's super effective. I win. Or I beat it. Then it's at this point that he surrenders, giving me the win. That was an interesting battle. I kind of took control of it after a little bit of a hiccup, but here is the next battle. Not sure if Salamence is OU or not, but this is technically an OU team that I'm fighting. That's all Dragon type. And this is also the last battle of the video. Haxorus, Latios, and Black Huron. Two of which are shiny. A shiny Black Huron. I'm not sure that's physically possible. Or legitimately possible with this game's code. Actually, it might be, but it's off. So, Huron. There's a reason that anything's going to be weak to Bullet Punch, and I was right. He switches to Huron, which gets fainted one shot with Bullet Punch. Oh no, it lives with like 1 to 2 HP left. So it can get off of Frost Bolt, which does about half of Scissor's HP, but the Huron faints to Life Orb pretty quick. So, out comes Salamence, who has Intimidate. So, I wisely decide to switch away from Scizor, go to Melodic, who has Ice Beam. Salamence gets a DD up, which means it's a sweeper set. Ice Beam, despite being 4 times super effective. Oh no, it's yeah. Oh no, Salamence has a Focus Sash. So it almost kills. But I still have Bullet Punch. So yeah. I think that was a misplay on this guy's part, because I still have Bullet Punch. Even with that -1, Bullet Punch is still pretty devastating to something that offers something that resists Dragon type moves. And the Haxorus has lefties for some reason. Now I don't know why. And I just keep Bullet Punching, hoping for a critical. This guy keeps Dragon Clawing, hoping for a critical. takes Scissor down to the red. And he decides to rotate to his Latios, doing something smart this time because he knows I have Bullet Punch. And Thunderbolt takes Scissor down. But, yeah. This guy's not doing too well. And Staraptor gets the Intimidate off on a special attacker again. But it wastes the Latios' Wider, which is actually pretty cool and I didn't notice before. So, Psychic does pretty decent chunk. Ice Beam doesn't quite faint the Latios from that range. I think I just stay in on Melodic and just keep Ice Beam. Thunderbolt does quite a bit, doesn't quite take Melodic down into the yellow. Ice Beam will finish off Latios from this range. Meaning that Haxorus, meaning that Shiny Haxorus is the only Pokemon that this guy's got left. I think that all the Pokemon this guy brought were Dragon type, even the other two that he didn't pick. So, yeah, that Dragon Claw I believe did more damage than the Thunderbolt off of Latios. But Ice Beam finishes it, and I win. I believe that's I don't remember. But anyway, comment, rate, subscribe. Tell me if you want me to keep doing these. And I'll see you around. Yeah.